Solar PV Cast by Shift, a podcast exploring solar energy and the role it plays in improving our lives and our planet. Here's your host, Chris Palliser.
Now, we know the transition to renewable energy is happening. We know it's picking up speed. But is that the case when it comes to real estate? Do solar panels really make a difference when buying or selling yet? To get some perspective in that world, we are joined by Lindsay Block-Glass from the Modern Real Estate team with Royal Lepage in Victoria, BC. Lindsay, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So renewable energy, like I just kind of stated, the transition is happening very quick. And when you're in the industry, it feels a lot faster. So I really wanted to do a podcast episode on solar and renewable energy in general from a real estate point of view. So thank you for joining. I mean, I'll get right to it right away. Are you seeing a lot of homes on the market with solar? Is that a thing? Are we there yet? Where do we sit when it comes to solar specifically?
Yeah. I mean, solar specifically, to be honest, I'm not seeing it a lot. There are some newer homes that are, made solar ready, as you say. Specifically, I know the developer Gablecraft is making all of their homes ready to be installed with solar panels. So that's a very cool initiative that we're seeing, but we're not seeing it a lot on the resale market. It's still a pretty new trend. And I think although, the change is happening and there definitely is more awareness there, we're not seeing it a ton.
Right. Immediately. I mean, you spoke on awareness there. In terms of the clients that you guys get at Modern Real Estate, is there an awareness yet for a home that's more energy efficient? Are people taking that into consideration?
I mean, absolutely. Not only are people aware of, the environmental issues that we can, try to curb by having these more energy efficient homes, but there's huge cost savings there as well. So certainly, there's a lot of different products that we're seeing home buyers more interested in now in order to, make their homes more energy and cost efficient.
Right. I mean, and that bodes well for everybody. What about from the selling standpoint? Has anybody, sold a home with a heat pump and they're kind of like, oh, make sure you guys really, really hit that heat pump?
We're there with the heat pumps for sure. We're there with the heat pumps. We're there with the insulation. We're seeing, more EV chargers in homes as well. In fact, stratas, condo buildings are starting to mandate that there's EV chargers in the strata for, whomever, whether it be visitors or residents in the building. So we're definitely seeing that kind of thing. I think solar, we're not quite there with the amount of volume that we're seeing. As I said, I haven't seen a lot of it, especially in the resale market. But absolutely that interest and that, awareness and concern is there. So I think it's coming. It's coming.
Oh, I like that. I like to hear that. Would you say, I mean, speaking of EVs, you mentioned, would you say, 5 years ago, has that changed? How has EVs changed, or heat pumps? 5 years ago, were people into it and now they are?
I mean, I think that's been a big, transition, and we've all experienced, all the electric cars that are on the roads. I mean, people are putting those EV chargers in their homes now certainly much more than they were 5 years ago when that trend was just beginning. So it's very possible, and likely with all the other, energy efficient initiatives that we're seeing in homes, that solar panels become, more the norm and more of a desired, thing that in technology that we have in homes.
Yeah, and we actually like to use EV chargers and EVs as kind of a crystal ball, if you will, because usually what happens is somebody gets an EV and then shortly after they're like, wait a minute, I can power this with the sun? Okay, I'm going to look into solar. So it's kind of, it's good for our business to see that EVs are now at that mainstream place where on the list of things people are giving you, they say, ooh, we'd love our home to have an EV charger in it already.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that, society in general is going in that direction. And so we're definitely starting to see that trickle down into, the products people are buying for their real estate and just their lifestyles, right? Yeah.
We like to say it's all about lifestyle, and you hit the nail on the head. we like to say a solar array generally adds to the value of your home, roughly the cost of the solar array. So when you're selling, it does add a little bit. But do you think, in your opinion, in your experience, do you think someone with a solar array, that would be a nice feature for somebody to highlight in their ad, if you will?
100%. Yeah, of course. How cool is that? I definitely think if you have a cool feature like that, especially now that we're not seeing as much, absolutely it appeals to that niche market, and people who are just sort of thinking about it. It would be a great opportunity for people to, try it out. And so by all means, it would be a great feature on a house, for resale. Yeah.
I guess we talked about this before in our other conversations about how solar from an investment standpoint makes the most sense if you use it, for your forever home, I think was the word you used. So maybe that's also why we're not seeing those houses come on the market. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's a bit of a newer technology, right? So I think what I'm seeing more of is my clients are getting into a home on the resale market, and then they're installing, your solar panels. So we maybe haven't quite seen that influx of these resale properties that have this solar technology, because people are getting into their homes, they're installing this technology, and then this is their forever home, right? They're there for many years. So maybe we'll be seeing it more in years to come as people start to transition, having already put that technology in and then transition into their next residence.
Yeah. I'm kind of having that thought now. It's kind of like, you put it on the home you want to stay in. And so, of course, you're not going to see a whole lot coming up on the market because, to your point,
I think that's right. Yeah, I think in your business, people are investing in this technology for the long term, right? And so, and that's why Gablecraft, for instance, are doing these fantastic new builds out in Royal Bay that have this technology, and that people are going to buy into these wonderful new homes and be in them for quite a long time.
I think it's great. I mean, that you're starting to see that, you mentioned in Royal Bay, they're selling these homes solar ready, because that is the way of the future. I would be really interested. We actually did a podcast episode on a true solar ready home. And apparently, to say it is a solar ready home, so maybe some information here as these houses come into your world a little more, for a true solar ready home, or to say you're solar ready, you just need a conduit coming down from the attic to the panel. That's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong. But unfortunately, then what happens is on the south-facing roof, the one that gets all the sun, they put plumbing stacks or skylights, and then you can't get solar panels there. So we did this great episode, from a marketing standpoint. Yep, this is a solar-ready home. But then we've had a few people move in. It's solar ready, and then all of a sudden it's like, unfortunately, we can't put panels here because you've got air vents coming there, or a skylight standing right in the middle. And then another one we've discovered is that, yes, the conduit is going down. However, it's nowhere near the panel. So we've got to cut some drywall and rerun some wire. And so, maybe when they're building the house, yes, it's solar ready, but there isn't even a south facing portion. You know what I mean? There's these little kind of things that can make it even more solar ready.
Very cool. That's actually really good education for me as I do start to see more people be interested in this kind of technology to bring to their attention. I wonder if you're thinking about that.
Yeah, totally. Even our senior project engineer was telling me a lot of the calls we get from tech support are when people's Wi-Fi goes down, they can't monitor their solar production. So they said, even for a true solar ready home, put your inverter or what have you somewhat near your internet so you can hardwire it so you don't need the Wi-Fi. Like all these little tips and tricks to make it a true solar ready home. So, hey, this is a cheap plug for the podcast. So by all means,
awesome.
I'll send it to your real estate team.
I love it. I mean, obviously, I think for me, I just need to put my people in touch with you right away when, people express interest in this kind of technology on their home. I mean, yeah, I think you're the guy to connect with. Because obviously, obviously if you're seeing these homes that aren't quite the solar ready that you really need to make it, applicable, they need you on the side telling them how to make this really feasible. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And the future of solar, I mean, we've talked about how obviously you see that it is going to be a thing at some point. Building integrated solar is also what we're seeing. In California, it's my understanding now that you can't build a home without its own form of power generation. So we see that happening here in BC. What do you think about that?
I'm all for it. I mean, I think we've got a ways to go. And I think this kind of awareness and education is key, definitely, we want people to be more aware of the environment and their impact, whether it's in their homes or the car they drive or, just in general. So I think we're on our way there. I think let's keep doing what we're doing, keep you doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's not going to be an overnight thing as much as we want it to be, but it is interesting even to get your point of view on how we are at that point now where it's in the consumer's mind, it's in the client's mind. Like you said, we're there on insulation windows. People are looking for those things.
Absolutely. Well, there's rebates too. Right. There are definitely cost incentives, financial incentives for making your home more efficient. So definitely, I think even getting into those older homes that aren't newly built solar ready, there's lots of opportunity there, not only in the savings, as the heat's like going out the window, the closed window, like having that insulation, having those more energy efficient options make a huge difference, not only for the earth, and climate change, but, for your finances. Makes a big difference.
In Victoria, obviously, we do have Victoria proper. We have a lot of older homes. Are people making these adjustments to these older homes, or are they selling as is? What do you see?
I think those adjustments are absolutely happening. I mean, older windows, heat pumps are very popular now. People are absolutely making those adjustments, utilizing the rebates that are available. And just you can instantly see the difference that it makes to your bill, your heating bills and your and just how it feels in your home. So it's happening. People are doing it. Absolutely. Awesome. Those upgrades make a huge difference.
Heading in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the real estate market in Victoria? What's it doing right now, just in general? Are we slowing down? Are prices going up? Where are we at?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're slowing down. No, prices have been fairly stable since about October. I mean, there was a pretty big, the beginning of 2022 was still very, very busy, super competitive and very low inventory. We saw a bit of a drop in prices, about 10 to 15%, depending on the sector of the market, over the last year. And that was largely because of the interest rates going up. Right. So, money wasn't as cheap as it had been. And so the cost of buying went up. So there was a bit of a dip in prices and a lot less demand. But things are starting to heat up again. The Bank of Canada has held the rates for a few months now. And we're starting to see demand come back to the market. Inventory is still very low, though. So there's not much in there. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? There was a place near our home that went up. Yeah, it was about 2-3 weeks and sold signs. So you're still seeing it. They're still seeing that. Well, but I guess
we're not seeing, there's just not enough supply out there for all the folks who are looking, right? And so that's where, there's great opportunity in those new builds. A lot of development happening downtown, as I'm sure, you and your listeners are aware. So that's all, as much as it can really change the cityscape and change the feel of the city, it's really providing a lot more opportunity for people to get into homes that are, that are needed. and will ultimately affect the real estate market for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a great investment in real estate, even more so if you got solar, right?
No kidding. No kidding. I'm with you. Very cool.
I love it. Well, Lindsay, thanks for the quick chat on your perspective on solar and how, we're not there right now, but I love the fact that just hearing your clientele is conscious of what they can do for the planet, conscious about an investment. I mean, all signs point to we're on the right track.
I think you're right. Yeah, we're not quite there with, the amount of interest in the product that we're seeing out there, but I definitely think we're heading that direction. People are interested, and that's how it starts. So,
well, wonderful. And if they do have any solar questions, you got a guy.
I got your number. Thanks, buddy. That's awesome.
I love it. Lindsay, thanks so much for taking the time to join the Solar PV Cast today. That's Lindsay Block-Glass from the Modern Real Estate team with Royal Lepage. Lindsay, thank you.
Thank you.
The Solar PV Cast by Shift with Chris Palliser. To begin your solar journey, visit shift.ca.